In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a step-by-step guide on how to go from this, a little rinky-dink hill, to this, a massive castle fully outfitted with plenty of room for your pals, everything you need for a smooth base operation, and fully outfitted with complete assembly lines with storage and smelting options, as well as anything else you might need for endgame content. If your current base is just complete dog water, and you're finally looking to impress your friends with a base where you can conduct some proper king activity, this is going to be your guide to get it done. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Dauntus here. I can't even believe I'm telling you this, but YouTube actually demonetized my last video on this main base location because of a 2-second Dig Toys clip that I guess they didn't like. I wish I was kidding. And guys, that video has nearly 200,000 views just a little over a week after releasing it, so needless to say, I'm pretty upset. So what are we gonna do about it? We're gonna make my feelings happy again by, say it with me, subscribing to the channel. Love you guys. Building a base is actually quite easy, but the whole thing centers around getting just one thing right: the foundation. So if you take anything from this video, it should be here at the beginning where I teach you how to actually lay a proper foundation. Here's what you need to do. And you can use this logic anywhere. It doesn't have to be specifically at this base location. You can use this in any base area anywhere in the game. But what you want to do is you want to find the lowest point of your base's circle where you would like to build, and you want to place a foundation stone as high as it'll let you place it. And what this is going to do is it's going to offset the hill so that the rest of your foundation is going to go straight across and virtually eliminate that hill so that you have a nice, great, big, spacious area of a foundation laid so that you can build on top of that without any issue. Now that we understand how important it is to lay a proper foundation, the rest of this video is going to be a step-by-step tutorial to teach you how to build the castle that you see on the screen right now. So if that's you, sit back, relax, and let's get this thing built. Before we get started with the actual build, I wanted to take a moment to thank today's video sponsor, Dauntus. Dauntus is a very easy to use and very reliable dedicated hosting service for Palworld. If you guys are looking for a permanent world that's up and running 24/7 even when you're not logged in, I would definitely recommend checking them out. They make it super easy to quickly upload your existing save file or change to a new one using their drag and drop feature. They have servers pretty much everywhere around the world, so all you gotta do is just select the server that's closest to you and you can get to gaming. I've been using their dedicated hosting service for quite some time now, and I can honestly say I'm seriously impressed with their performance. Their website is super user-friendly, and they've got options for both Windows and Linux users, as well as an option for modded playthroughs. If you want to check them out, go to the link in my description for 30% off your first month, and thank you again to Dauntus for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so let's get this thing built. So first thing you want to do is identify the very first foundation stone and where it's laid in order to set yourself up for success. So for the purposes of this video, I decided this is the lowest point of the map, and here's the exact location of where I placed the foundation stone, just so you can see the side of the cliff. And I'll give you a little bit more perspective here just so you can see. So bigger picture, it's kind of this middle area here where there's like a little weird divot here in the corner. So again, I placed the foundation stone here and it's faced kind of this way, and that's going to help it so that it can go across the back of the circle in the most even way possible. So you're going to want to place your foundation stone about right there and angle it about like that so that this little area here kind of makes a bit of a rectangle right there. And if you guys don't already know, if you select a stone foundation and bring it closer to you, it does this, and if you bring it further away from you, it will give you the option to raise it up higher. So again, you want to find the lowest point of the map, which is again going to be right there, and you're going to raise it up as high as it'll let you go before it turns red. Then you want to taper it down just a smidge until it turns blue. And it probably would also be wise to bring it down a little bit lower just in case you didn't account for another low part on the other side of the map. Once you have that first foundation stone laid down, the rest of this is going to be pretty simple. So I like to pay attention to the orientation of the stones just because I think it looks more aesthetic. So I keep all of these horizontal always, and we're going to bring this all the way across until we get as close as possible to that first ore node there. So there is a little bit of a space there. That should be fine. And now what we're going to do is start from the back over here, and we're going to go as far across as it'll possibly let us go. Be mindful that if you're outside the circle, this will technically decay depending on your server settings, so just be mindful of that as you're working on this base here. If you need to move the blue circle a little bit more this way, you can certainly do that. But let's continue going all the way across, and there's an area here that's a little bit lower and kind of off the cliff. That's okay, we're going to account for that later. But what we're going to do here is go up by 1, and then move over to the right 1, and then we're going to continue building as though we were able to get that one filled in. So let's take this all the way out as far as it'll let us go. And then the rest is just going to be a function of actually filling in what else is already there. So I'm gonna leave that there and maybe add a staircase. But let's continue here and just start moving along, filling them in. So again, all the way across, being sure to check the orientation. And then we can do the same thing here. We can go find where it'll let you place it and just go across. So no room there, but we can do this. And continue going all the way across. Again, another ore node there, so be careful, but it will let you build here. And that's about it. So now the rest is just filling in the gaps. Again, be very careful next to that ore node there. We don't need to have anything in this area, but what I will do is I will add a staircase right here. This should be fine with that ore node, but if you find it doesn't respawn, you can just go ahead and delete that staircase. Let's just continue filling in the stone foundation here. Again, checking the orientation, making sure that everything is horizontal. And I'm going to pause the screen here just a moment so you can see where we ended up with. Actually, let's do a quick flyover. So here is the foundation that you should have before you get started with the building of the top level. So go ahead and pause the video, take a screenshot, whatever you got to do. That's exactly what you're looking for in terms of a foundation laying at the outset. I will make one quick adjustment. I'm going to taper this guy down 1 level, and instead I'm going to add a staircase. Again, just for some aesthetic purposes. Okay, the next part of this is pretty easy. All you got to do is just build stone walls basically all the way across. Now, I'm going to leave 1 square there open, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are going to be 3 stone walls high. So go ahead and build 3 stone walls high all the way across. And then this little corner area here, I like to use just open windows for the back because I think it looks more aesthetic and it kind of preserves the view from the inside. So you can do this however you want to, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to continue that theme of 3 high, and I'm going to use windows all across the back here. And the reason I'm doing 3 high is because you want to make sure you have enough room for some of your bigger pals like Yormantide Ignis, if you use like Wombos or Wombo Batons. Those are some thick boys, so they tend to get stuck and roll around everywhere. And you want to make sure they've got enough room to come inside the base and sleep, because this is where you're going to actually put your pal beds. So let's go ahead and get this done. Again, 3 high all the way across. And it's okay that we've got a little corner there. We're going to account for that once we get onto the top level. So don't worry if it looks asymmetrical. It is okay. And for the rest of this, I'm actually going to go, so I'm going to do 2 windows here, and then for the rest of this, I'm going to use just a standard stone wall, because I'm not entirely concerned about preserving the look from that standpoint. So I don't think it matters. So we're going to match what we did on the other side and actually do this, leaving 1 stone open, and then we're going to continue that theme of 3 high all the way to the top like that. Now I need to actually go back and match what I did on this side so that it stays even. I think I went out too far by 1, which is okay. So we're going to build this up by 3. And then I'm going to destroy this here. And now let's get to building the actual staircase. Okay, I actually still have this a little bit too far up. I'm going to taper this down 1 more, and here's where the staircase is going to go. That's the last adjustment, I promise you. It had to be even on both sides, so there we are. Okay, now that we've got this laid out and we made that little stair adjustment, you're going to see the rest of this come together pretty quickly. And the first thing we got to do is we have to add a staircase. And this is going to be an open floor concept so that you've got plenty of room. So I'm going to go ahead and offset the stairs to the left here just so we have plenty of stair space to work with. They're going to end up actually starting right here. So what you want to do first is grab yourself some stone triangles and you're going to place them like so. And then you can go ahead and grab your stone stairs. Make sure that you have your crosshair placement, placed appropriately, and then go ahead and turn this around so that you can do that. Now we're going to jump on a theme of putting down a regular stone wall, and then we're going to place the stone triangles on top of this, but I'm going to go ahead and build this out behind it just to make it easy. And I'm actually going to go up by 2 here, because you're going to see that's what's needed to make this go by quickly. And then you go up a level. Grab yourself your stone triangles, and then you're just going to follow suit here. So let's go stone stairs, place that there, place this here, and we're going to need 1 more level. So good thing I went up by 2 with those stone walls. So then just stone triangles like this, and then you grab your final set of stone stairs like this. Now that we're up here, the rest of this is going to go by very quickly. So grab yourself a stone roof, and we're just going to start filling in the void spaces here. So I like to build 1 and jump on top. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to build this whole thing out. And the cool thing is when you get to this area, because we don't need a foundation and because it's a roof, you can actually build over it in such a way that it makes it look perfectly symmetrical. Now, what I did for this castle is I went back out by 1, so there is a little bit of an overhang. Again, be mindful if your server has structure decay, this is not going to fly. But for mine, it doesn't, and that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this all the way across the back just to give myself a little bit of extra room, and then we will continue. So moving along. We're going to keep it as square as possible, and I went ahead and stepped outside the zone here. So let's see if I can build this and then jump. Oh. The orientation matters, I promise. So do this, and then this. And we're just going to continue filling in all the gaps here. I like to start from the back just to make sure that everything is tethered to something. I don't actually think it matters, but I like to just start from the back and then go all the way across to make sure that there are no issues at all with the placement. And I'm going to back up here in a moment to show you what yours should look like from the top to ensure that you've got everything you need. So let's continue building. Now here it is. Okay. So what I did was I actually built a little bit of an overhang, not on this side because it's not needed, but starting here, I went back by 1, and then I actually went back by 2 to give myself a ton of room up here. And then I just took this all the way across. And then continue to fill it in here. All right. So now we've got a nice big open area. Let's go ahead and take a aerial shot just so we can see what we're working with from the top. And this is what your top should now look like. So pause it, take a screenshot, count the squares, and just make sure you've got that moving forward to make sure you're following along. Okay, now we're just about to the finish line. Let's go ahead and add the rest of the structures here. What I like to do just for a bit of a castle look is close this in here, and these are just going to go up by 2. So I like to make these 2 high. These are going to serve as storage containers as well as just to provide, again, that castle look. And here I like to go up by 2. And then I like to go up by 1 here and actually close it in because there is going to be a bit of a curve here just because I think it looks good. Not the front. I don't know why I just showed that to you. This guy's only going to be a stone wall. I got ahead of myself. This is just going to be a 2x2 stone wall in the front. And then we're going to do those kind of arced structures in the back here. So again, get some extra practice. So we're going to go up by 2, down by 1, and close it. And then we're going to add a stone triangle. And so it should look like that before you start putting the roof on. So again, stone slanted roof. Get your crosshairs right. Place it. And then we're going to do a regular stone roof. And get your crosshairs right. Make sure it's horizontal and place it. Then we're going to do the same thing on this side. And we're just about at the end. Stone wall. Up by 2. And then by 1. Close it in. Stone triangle. First the roof. And then we're going to grab a flat stone roof, make sure that it's horizontal, and place it. Now, we're getting near the end here. So let's do a stone roof on the top of each of these. And what I actually like to do in terms of like a finishing touch is after I get all of those placed, what I like to do is I like to go to the top of these. And I like to do a little trick with these stone triangles. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to face them a certain way and then have them connect at the peak. So it looks like this. And then you just mirror that on the other side. So it should look like this. Now I go to the other side and I'm going to do the exact opposite of what I did over there. So because those are faced that way, I'm going to change it to this way. And what that does is it just makes it so it looks nice and clean. And then I'm actually going to go to the back of these and do the same thing at the top here. So I'm going to do the opposite of what's there. So those are set up like that. So I'm going to flip this like this. And there's that one. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, mirroring what I've already done right here. And I ran out of stone. Dang it. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back. The cons of building outside your base. So let's go up to the top here. And again, we're going to mirror what we did at the front there, but do the opposite. So it's faced like that over there. So I'm going to change it like this. And there we go. Now let's take a quick aerial view look at what the castle looks like. And we're going to see what else we need to add. So here we go. And that actually looks beautiful. That's like exactly what we wanted. So here you're going to have an overhang on the back like that. That's perfectly normal. That's okay if you're running on a server without any decay. But if not, again, you could just move your PAL box a little bit closer that way. I've got plenty of room over here where all the ore nodes are still within the base, and I could technically move these areas like the ranch and all that stuff inward a little bit. So you could actually get more real estate out of this and make it to where those are inside the circle, no problem at all. Last thing I want to do before we start adding all the items is put the defensive walls on. I think they look really, really good. A trick for this is to line it up as best you can and walk it into the wall and make sure that you have it exactly even. So when you walk in, all the color of the center disappears at the same time. See how that one's kind of off and it does it slowly? That's not the right angle. So I'll change angles a little bit and boom, there we go. Now it's disappearing all at the same time, and that's how I know it's even. So I'll walk into the wall, walk out slowly until it turns blue. And I think I'm a little bit to the right. So let me do that. Okay, cool. So that's as far to the right as I can go. And then I'm going to walk it into the wall and slowly bring it out. And as soon as it turns blue, I'm going to place it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side over here on this area. So let's grab the defensive wall, walk it in, and make sure that we have it all disappearing at the same time, which we do in the middle. Look at the bottom to make sure it's lined up. And then we're just going to slowly walk it out until it turns blue. And there it is. So that's going to add a nice castle touch to your area here, which I think looks wonderful. Now all we have to do is just add some storage, add the furnace, add the assembly lines, and then I think we've got ourselves a proper working base. Just kidding. One more thing we should do is we should add ourselves a little bedroom in here. And the reason we want to do this is because you need a place to sleep. So what I suggest doing is actually going all the way up here and building this up to the top by 3. And you can leave this wide open if you want to. I think it's going to be cool, just kind of making this room as big as possible. And what I should have done was built here initially a stone door and go ahead and place it and then just walk in. And we can start getting rid of all of these little extra walls here. Make sure you don't hit the stairs, but you can actually get rid of most of these. because they're all completely tethered already. So I would leave the outside walls there, and I think that this is probably a good place to stop. You could technically fill this in with a triangle if you wanted to, but I'm okay with the placement. It's not a big deal. So just come in here, place a bed, and then you've got yourself your own Harry Potter dungeon. Another goofy finishing touch is you can go on the outside here and build some stairs. Again, just be careful you're not going over any ore nodes. Not necessary, but I think it looks kind of cool, and you can actually end up going around the back here and doing the same thing. Just again for a little aesthetic touch, but most people probably would not want to do this, which I don't blame you, but I'm going to go ahead across the back and just get it done. And now we're looking good. As for the rest of this base, all you need to do is come up here and just, again, add your assembly lines, add the storage and the rest of the stuff you need, and then we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut, and I'll have some B-roll here of where I decided to place everything so that you guys can see where I landed with my placement. You guys have to build an Anubis with max work efficiency. This thing is insane. Okay, so this is where I landed with the placement of all my stuff. I put all the pal beds down here. Over here to the right, I have a small area for all of my minor production needs. I probably would add a fridge here as well if you're concerned with that, but that's what this area is for. And then of course the top, which is the crowning glory of this base, where you can do all of your major production and storage. On the opposite side, I put my smelting and an extra storage container. And then in both of the back corners, I placed 2 large PAL containers just because they happen to fit there. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a good day.